NFL world was set on its ear with all these wide receiver trades.
Yeah, it was.
So everyone's figuring out who could be next. I got a phone call from a buddy of mine, and just, kind of general talk conversation, right? And he's from a team that does not need a wide receiver.
All right.
I'll tell you the team off air. Okay. They don't need a wide receiver. But he goes, would Sutton be available if the Broncos lost?
Huh.
And I just thought that was an interesting question, so I'd bring it to us. I didn't even put it in the group chat.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to kind of spring that and say, like, okay, we wanted them to be buyers, but would they in fact be sellers? Because this game against the Saints, you should trounce them. You should kick their ass.
Their defense
up one
stinks.
side, down the field, down the other side. They got a rookie quarterback. Defense can't tackle. Then nobody's playing on offense. Even the guys like Bub Means, who's going to be out there, he's banged up. He's going to play, but he's banged up. Alvin Kamara is banged up. Maybe Taysom Hill returns. So this should be a great game for the Broncos. But if it's not, I mean, teams now with the floodgates open, like we said yesterday, there's teams out there considering, like, who's out there? Who could be out there? And maybe it's a team, that starts to sell off that you don't expect. We're expecting Jacksonville to be one of those teams. And there are still more wide receiver needy teams out there that didn't get Amari Cooper like the Bills did and didn't get Devontae Adams like the Jets did.
Yeah, it's interesting and it's always been something, heck, you and I even said it, like deadlines bring deals.
Yep.
Not so much this year in the NFL. Couple of weeks away, and teams are already going all in and making it known what they are, or in Jacksonville's case, what they are not. So I was thinking about this a lot last night because you brought up Cooper Kupp. Kevin had that conversation with us a week ago. You brought up Christian Kirk there in Jacksonville, who is selling. And the more and more I thought about it, Cease, the more and more, and really, now I reserve the right to change my opinion when new information comes in, because that's how opinions work.
Mm-hmm. It's how they should work.
Yeah, right. Where I'm at right now, even with New Orleans, Carolina there as the next couple of opponents, you get wins. You're, sitting at 5-3 at that moment. I'm not sure if that's enough for me to go all in. I think what the Chargers loss did for me in my Broncos vision is it put me right back to where I was before they even played the opening game in Seattle.
Okay.
I'm back at let's develop. Let's see who Bo is. Let's see who Troy Franklin is. I feel like I got a pretty good idea who Devon Vele is, but let's continue to see that.
Right.
Let's see what Cortland can be in a couple of weeks, 5-6 weeks, when Bo starts to really take steps forward. I think that Chargers loss has officially got me back into that. My tunnel vision with the Broncos, it never really was about playoffs, even when they won the 3 straight games. Now even more so, it's like, let's get back to what we were thinking about before this season started. Okay. And we got a little greedy, to be honest, with those 3 wins. And I'm not faulting anybody for it, but we did. I'm back there now.
Shouldn't we be greedy?
Not right now. Tell me why, though.
You can make a run. You can make a run.
All right.
If they can get to the playoffs and they've got that defense and playoff football, much like we talk about playoff basketball, it's just different. So if you can make a run, make a run. Make a run. The Bills in their first year with Josh Allen made the playoffs. Next year didn't make the playoffs, but they made a run. And now they're building, and their problem is Sean McDermott. Well, Sean Payton here, he's been a problem. Be less of a problem this week, Sean. Please, for the love of God, be less of a problem. We're begging you. It's New Orleans. You're all up in your feelings. You discovered electricity like you're the greatest, Sean. So go out there and be great. Like, if you win 2 in a row and now they're rolling and you're feeling it, Baltimore's going to be tough. Kansas City's going to be tough. So I'm going to ask you this. I'll turn this thing around.
Okay.
If you allow me to retort. You're a buyer because, 1, the prices could be low. But 2, let's keep an eye on what the rest of the conference is doing. And let's get the specific down to what the division is doing.
Okay.
What if Kansas City drops their next 2? You win your next 2, KC drops your next 2. Are you going to sit on your hands then? Or are you going to be back in the go-for-it mode? And
see what you're doing here.
I got you.
You're totally bringing me back in.
Just when you thought you were out, I can bring you back in. But that's the thing. Like, if you got to control what you can control. Every athlete says it all the time. And honestly, it's a mantra that I believe in. Not going to worry about what other people are doing. I have to worry about what I'm doing. I have to focus on that. So the Broncos, focus on what you're doing. Go out there, beat New Orleans. You should be able to go out there, beat Carolina. You should be able to.
No doubt about that.
And then if other teams are kind of stumbling, hell yeah, go for it, man.
See that? There we go with new information, my opinion would change. And if we get to that point with a couple Chiefs losses, the Chargers continue to fall, so that tiebreaker at the moment, obviously still have another one with LA, but
Right.
At the moment leaning towards the Chargers, then I might come back on the side of that conversation. But I have to see that, and I have to watch the Broncos go out and not only pass an eye test against the Saints and the Panthers, but, you got, I guess it's all in the same sentence there, pass the eye test by winning big and showing me that you deserve to get that kind of attention again.
There's only one problem with Kansas City dropping the next two.
What is it?
They play the Raiders. Now, they play the 49ers.
Okay.
And then they play the Raiders.
Okay.
So it's like, okay.
So they're definitely not losing to the Raiders.
Let's just say that. Yeah, they'll be all right then. They'll be all right then. But if you look at it, you go, okay, what's everyone else doing? The playoff positioning is, Baltimore's put themselves in a better position now. So the Steelers are going to Russell Wilson. It doesn't make any sense. But, what's everyone else doing within this conference? The Jets think that they have a chance. They're 2-4.
Yeah, I don't believe the Jets have a chance, though.
No, I don't either. But they do, and they made that move for a cheaper price, right? Aaron Rodgers made that move for a cheaper price. So if you put yourself in position and it looks like maybe you're around that, then I say make that run, even if it is still about building. It is still about developing, Bo, because it is. It's what this entire season's about.
Yes, it is.
It's not real sexy to say, not real fun to think about, but if you think, hey, in a season where you're developing, you can win 9 games, 10 games, go to the playoffs, yeah, do it.
I always used to tell Stoke when we were doing the thing of hey, we got to pay our taxes, right? As a boyfriend, I got to pay my boyfriend tax and go to stupid concerts that I don't care about for her, because then I'm going to ask her to do something. Same sort of thing. We got to pay our winter tax so that our summers rip here in Colorado, and we're not too far from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to say this because I get it, Broncos country. We've been paying our taxes, right, to the Broncos for 9 straight years, and it hasn't paid off. But that's a little bit of what this is, of we need to pay our quarterback tax. And I get it. We feel like we've been paying that for a decade. But that's what this still is, man. It's still about the development of Bo. Could it be fun if they make a run? Was it fun talking about the 3 straight wins? Absolutely. And
yes.
We're going to have fun with that when it presents itself.
Yes.
But all this, Broncos country, media members, all up in our feelings about the loss to the Chargers. And I get it. On Monday, that's for feelings. But like I said, over the last couple of days, I'm like, you know what, man? Our expectations were right to start this season. Vegas's expectations were right to start this season. They're going to win more than 5 games. But setting it at that bar based off the information that was given at that time is more than fair now that we've seen 6 games play. So, am I going to scream and raise my fist and old man at clouds during losses? Maybe. I might get to that, right. Yeah. But for the most part, I'm going to try to keep myself in check, and I'll have you keep me in check. And I know damn well that the listeners will do that on the RamosLaw.com text line.